All right, everyone, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. We finally have the FedEx Cup playoffs here. I say finally, like it's actually pretty crazy that we have the FedEx Cup playoffs here. It has been a fun season, and really just for the sake of it, for the sake of fun, at the start of this video, I'm just going to be highlighting the regular season, just kind of recapping it, some fun stuff. And I posted this on Twitter. If you guys want to check that out on Twitter, you can. I will have that, I guess, in the comment section below if that's what you want. I also will have a timestamp in the comment section below when we actually do start to get into the picks and stuff for this week. But I thought it'd be something fun to look at to start off with, so we'll do that first. So I have it pulled up here. This is the tweet that I put out there. Didn't get that much love, which is a little bit surprising. Got a decent amount of profile clicks, which is weird. But anyways, so the PGA regular season, just looking at winners right now, and then the thread continues. Kind of crazy. So outright winners, 13 outright winners, a little bit lower than last year actually for the regular season. The core play winner, so about 30% of the tournaments we had outright winner at. Pretty good. I posted a tweet, I don't know, 3 months ago, like, hey, at the end of the season, what would be a good percent of outright winners hit? A majority said like 20%. So obviously that's sitting pretty good there. Core plays. So the thing you got to know about core plays is it's typically 4 players or so. And you'll see here. So on the season, we've had 102 core plays. 6 of those have won. So that's a pretty good percent. Core plays plus high exposure plays. That's a little bit more players, but 13 outright winners there. And then if we were to just reduce the 9 to 5 model to the top 5% in the field for that week, 17 outright winners. And this is kind of the point that I've been making a lot lately. It's like with the first round leader stuff, with outright betting, it's like, chase the most likely outcomes. Like, these guys are favored. These guys are ranking out really well in the model for a reason. Sure, you're going to have random winners occasionally, but not too much. There hasn't been that many Tom Kim winners this season, okay? And I think that's going to be the trend going forward. And then just looking at top 5 in the 9 to 5 player pool, obviously that's less than 5%, 12 winners. Once again, though, if you just did that, these are all long ways of saying that if you just did these, you would have profitable approaches outright betting wise. Okay. Just kind of the fun thing. The most bet on player was Xander Schauffele, which I think it was like 10 times. He ended up winning 3 times, which is awesome. Best average finish, minimum 2 outright bets. Matt Fitzpatrick just dominated. Worst outright bet was Joel Damon at the Corrales. He withdrew. Just looking at the player pool. So in the player pool, core plays, like I said, 102 players, 6 winners, not bad. 18 top 5 finishes. So about 20% of the core plays finished top 5. I mean, that's pretty good. And then if you just want to compare that to the missed cuts, like almost just as likely to top 5 as they were to miss cut, I would say that's pretty good. If you want to look at top 10%, let's say that's about 32%. I didn't do the math, guys. Okay, whatever, do it. It's close enough to 100. That's what I'm rolling with. You're about 12% or so more likely to have a top 10 finisher than a miscut if you just went with the core plays. Not way over, but about 50% of them finished top 20 or better. So you're pretty much, I don't want to say pretty much, but you're essentially locking in about a top 26 finisher from the core plays. The average salary, I found this very interesting, 9.2 for the core plays. So not always the most expensive and not always the bare minimum. It is what it is. We're chasing that value. And I should mention, these are my final rankings for the week that come out on the 9 to 5 write-up, which is available for 9 to 5 members. Those of you watching this right now, for the most part, I try to give you guys the best information as possible as we have on Monday mornings. Occasionally, my rankings will change throughout the week, but I've been trying to give it to you guys as simple as possible. You guys see my cat in the back? Tell me what you think that cat's name is, just based off of what it looks like. An orange cat there. I'm just curious. Let's put that in the comment section below. Maybe if someone gets it right, I might give them a free month to 9 to 5 Sports. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. If you can name our cat, I'll give you a free month to 9 to 5 Sports. And just mentioning real quick, I have been putting out NFL content as well for NFL DFS season. So if that's something you're interested in, check it out. At the start of the regular season, everything I put out there for NFL content is going to be available for PGA DFS members. Okay. So continue on. High exposure plays, 7 winners. Once again, that's a decent amount for only 141 players. Just kind of looking over. We kind of get the story here. It's that one pretty good job handicapping, especially at the levels that we're looking at. As we go lower, obviously it's supposed to be a little bit less predictable. The one thing I want to point out to you guys is that the lower exposure plays, which is not much. I don't want too much of these guys, but they are people that are catching my eye. They are typically values. So the average salary for the lower exposure plays, 6.8. So pretty much a value. The thing I want to point out is 82 missed cuts. With 221 players, that's pretty good. So pretty much the biggest takeaways from there is that, pretty strong outright bet season by your guys' grades, not really my standards. I would like to hit a few more. I feel like a lot left a lot on the board. I should have really just went with the top 5% a lot more. If you guys watched the first round leader betting video, you caught that. That was kind of kicking myself a little bit for just not chasing the most likely outcomes as much this season. We're going to do that more next season. Bet golfers that are likely to win. Once again, just recapping that. The core plays. The core plays did kind of dominate when they made the cut. So, just sticking to that. And then studs and duds off of that. So we see the core plays did really well when they made the cut. It's been frustrating the last couple of weeks. I won't lie, just because players have been getting closer to the FedEx Cup playoffs. It's like, really, why are they playing? It's kind of like the lead up to a major. My cat just knocked over a plant. It's kind of like a lead up to a major. Like, why are they playing in it? That we don't really know. Like, what is their goal? And they're just typically not as mentally sharp. You look at Shane Lowry last week, just wasn't making as many putts. But the takeaway is that studs and does more. 62% of those lower exposure plays made the cut, which is pretty good when you're dipping down into that value tier. I would say like 50% would typically be the goal. We're at 62%. So if you just do that throughout the season, you're eventually going to get some really strong studs and duds builds. And that's something I think we need to target a little bit more. But now, guys, we are going to get into the picks and plays for this week. So just looking at real quick, going to be talking about course history. Hey, who has the best course history? Well, Sam Burns. He only has one start here. Same thing with Chris Kirk, one start here. A lot of these guys are going to have one starts because it's the playoffs. They're playing this event. Webb Simpson, we're not playing Webb Simpson, but just kind of a good thing to note there. Recent form-wise, let's check out recent form. Roy, no surprise there. Xander, Patrick Cantlay, like no surprises here with recent form. So a lot of strong golf. And what I really want to see is, hey, what have they been doing over the course of their last 5 starts, last 10 starts, last 15 starts? If we were to just look at last 5 starts, Patrick Cantlay popping up there. Taylor Pendrith still popping up there. Tom Kim popping up there as well. Cam Davis, wow, okay. Last 10 starts, which is what I go off of the most because that's when it's the most predictive. You're getting the full sample size. That's why someone like Davis Riley last week was still popping. I think that's a perfect example of why we do a full data set instead of just looking at a small concentrated approach. Is that someone like Davis Riley, who, if you just looked at the last 3 weeks, last 5 weeks, wouldn't have been popping. But if you looked at the full picture, he rated out as the 3rd best pick in the 9-5 model. Ended up, did he finish 3rd? I don't know. I'd have to look again. But pretty good stuff here. So we can kind of get a good estimate of who are going to be those top plays. Top in the 9-5 model. Sanjay Im, or stat rank wise, Sanjay Im is always just popping up stat fit wise. And then we go, this is where it gets interesting. So the top key stats for this week are going to be stroke skin approach last 10, ball striking last 10, birdie or better percentage. And then the wedge stat was casually popping up there as well. So players that are good with their wedge actually ranked out better. They were more likely to win. Some other things you could look at as well. Total driving. We do see total driving pop up there. Good drive percentage is something I'm also looking at a lot. And then although it is a par 70 course, par 5 scoring, once again, we saw that last week where players did need a score on those par 5s to be successful. Okay, that is also going to be a factor as well. So I'm looking at those stats as well. Here are the players that are popping up stat fit wise. Sanjay, no surprise there, he always pops. JT, kind of the same thing, always pops stat fit wise. Russell Henley, Cam Smith, Cameron Young, Mito popping up there. That's an interesting name. Xander, I love that. So a lot of interesting names popping up there, but let's get into the plays. All right, guys, Highland top 4 picks in each price point tier. Going to be starting off with Rory McIlroy now. He has pretty good course history, a 12th, a 47th, and a 4th place finish. That's good enough. Key stat-wise, could be a little bit better stat fit-wise, but best recent form in the field, best specialist in the field. 8 straight made cuts in a row, a bunch of starts where he's been in contention to win, just hasn't been able to do it all the time. Well, because winning on PGA Tour is tough, unless you're Xander, a 20-year-old making a bunch of putts, or Tony Finau. Recently. That's a joke. But Roy just playing great golf. I could easily see him being in contention to win, and I absolutely love him as a pick. I will be highlighting the core plays at the end of this video as well, like I used to. So highlighting the top 4 picks in each price point range, and then going to begin into the core plays. So Xander Schauffele, to me, once again, just a great play. Second best pick in the 9 to 5 mile. Course history could be better, and that's kind of the worry. But the guys are dealing with a cut here at this tournament. So, they'll be a little bit more geared up to play. So he's finished 46th, and I like the fact that he finished 6th place in 2020 and then 27th. So good stuff there. He's the second best staff in the field. When we look at the key stats for this week, once again, the key stats. So key stat number 1 is going to be stroke gained approach. Then we got ball striking, birdie or better percentage, and then that wedge stat. We are also going to be looking at good drive percentage, par 5 scoring a little bit, and total driving. So that's also factored into here. But highlighting the top 4 key stats, he ranks 2nd in stroke gained approach. Could be a little bit better in ball striking. 35th in the field in that. That's not terrible. We'll take that. Birdie or better percentage, 6th. And then that wedge stat, 11th. So pretty good across the board there. 5th in the field. And then obviously just strong recent form. Second best in the field. Just been a top 20 machine. Obviously he's won several times in 2020. In the year 2022. Sorry, I didn't finish that thought. He's won 3 times now in 2022 and a bunch, like 4 times over the past calendar year. This week. Yesterday. When I'm recording this. Yesterday. Because he won the Olympics on this date, whatever, last year or on Sunday, whatever. He's been winning a lot. He's figured out a way to win, and he could easily do that again this week. Won't be shocking. After that, I do like Patrick Cantlay a ton, and I've said this a bunch. Like in weeks that I like Xander Schauffele, I typically like Patrick Cantlay. Their games kind of coincide with each other. He's had some good enough course history, 23rd. 35th and 12th place finishes. Could be a little bit better, I guess, course history-wise, if you will, but those aren't terrible results. I think he's going to make the cut. It's just whether or not he's bringing his A game. And that's obviously true with anyone, but still. Key stat-wise, top 10 in the field, we'll take that. Really no concerns, and that's what I'm looking for with these high-end guys is do they have any concerns staff-it-wise? And you'll see the next one with Matt Fitzpatrick, that slight concern, but third best recent form in the field, no surprise there. He's dominating lately, and it's weird. It's kind of going under the radar just how well Patrick Cantlay's been playing. I'll just pull it up here for you guys. 2nd, 8th, 4th, 13th, 14th, 3rd, miscut, 1st, 2nd. People for a while there just did not realize how well Patrick Cantlay was playing. His ownership in some weeks should have been a lot higher than it was, and I don't know, maybe that'll be the case again this week. So we'll have to check in on Tuesday, check in on that ownership leverage video this week as well, because although the ownership leverage video said Tom Kim was overvalued, and he was. I don't think anyone would deny that he was overvalued. Came through. That play has not really come through that much this season. It was awesome to see. It was fun to watch. On the flip side of that, though, you look at the players that were undervalued, Will Zalatoris, Davis Riley, there's one more in there that finished top 5 as well. So 3 out of the top 5 golfers in the ownership leverage ended up finishing really solid. So good tool there. It's my long way of saying check out that Tuesday or Wednesday morning video, depending on when I get it out for the ownership leverage. We'll wait and see, because this is going to be a week in which some of these high-end guys are going to be undervalued. And that could potentially be Patrick Cantlay. We are looking at Matt Fitzpatrick as well. I feel like I'm just targeting a bunch of golfers that I always play, but that's because they've been strong plays this whole year, and why not? So the thing with Matt Fitzpatrick is last year, really was playing well. Just the data wasn't ever loving him as a play, whereas this season the data has loved him as a play, and he's playing well. So I do like to see that. I'm kind of just writing last year's finish kind of off because, this wasn't playing. I mean, he was playing well, but the data didn't really love him. So it's not too shocking of a finish. Then he finished 6th and 4th. Good stuff there. The worry with him would be that birdie or better percentage slightly. Okay, and that's on the season. If you look over the past 10 starts like I did for all the other stats, pretty solid. Okay, so I'm really not worried about that. Strong across the board otherwise. Still top 20 staff fit. Recent form-wise, 5th best in the field. No shock there. Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, Rory McIlroy, the 4 best picks in the high tier range this week. I will say, I do want to point this out just real quick. Cameron Young, I said about 5, maybe 6 months ago now, I posted a tweet pretty much after, I forget what tournament it was, but he was an outright for us that weekend. I think it was the first tournament that he really popped. I'm like, Cameron Young's going to be a PGA Tour winner this season. And I kind of thought that was a hot take at the time. And then he just rattled off a bunch of second and third place finishes. Well, I'm going to give that a go. I still think I'm going to outright bet him this week and then next week if he qualifies, which he should. I hope that takes stands true. Like, I think this would be the perfect kind of Xander-esque victory in the FedEx Cup playoffs where it finally comes all together. Still ranks out pretty well in the 9 to 5 model. Oh yeah, he's a pick I don't mind. Dipping down into that mid-tier price point tier though. So it's not the best, honestly. Like, I don't mind Sanjay M. Could have had better course history. Just an elite stat fit. Recent form, he's been hit or miss. So Sanjay M has been very hit or miss. We see the 2 straight second place finishes in a row. He had a kind of a lull in there where he sucked. And, he's just been a little bit inconsistent, honestly. That's the best way to describe it. But when he is on, he's been giving us top 5 upside, and that's really what we're chasing with this play. We're chasing him as a GPP play. Shane Lowry, I do expect to kind of bounce back this week. Sucked last week. Pretty much finished dead last for the golfers that made the cut. He could not make a putt. Tom Kim, he could make putts. Okay, Shane Lowry was just... I think it last week was a lot like a major where some of these golfers, and this was literally my concern with Shane Lowry, it's like, why is he even playing in this event? Like, it just didn't make sense. And potentially, you don't have your A game. Maybe you don't even have your B game, and you're just not as mentally sharp because of that. And we saw him miss a bunch of short bunnies, and that's kind of the easy way to tell when a player might be checked out for the tournament or not as mentally sharp as they should be, especially that on 18 to close out the tournament. Well, it should have been to close out the tournament in the second round. Terrible. But anyways, good course history, 23rd, 6th, and 30th place finishes. Like, okay, that's fine. Good enough stat fit, strong recent form, top 10 in the 9 to 5 mile. I'll take that this week. I'll take the narrative that last week was just kind of a whatever week for him, which I think it was. And then from there, like, I feel like we're just kind of forcing plays. Like, Sam Burns makes a lot of sense. Played really well at this tournament last year. Top 10 pick in the 9 to 5 mile. The recent form hasn't exactly been there for him, but maybe he's one of those golfers that was honestly just trying to get to the end of the season. Maybe, I don't know. That'd be a narrative you could buy, I guess. Really, we're going to make our money here in this low tier price point tier. So Max Homa, it surprises me that Max Homa's course history is this trash, this garbage. Okay. But kind of like Matt Fitzpatrick, in years past, Max Homa was not this player. He was not this consistent of a player. So those starts there, I guess not all too shocking. Now, if he sucks this week, we'll resort back to this course history and say, hey, that's why he struggled. Okay. But stat rank wise, 15th in the field. Recent form wise, 11th best in the field. Like, he has just been playing some strong golf. And once again, I go back to that miscut at the Open Championship. I think that literally comes down to Tiger. Like, I do. Like, his idol. Kind of like the Tiger effect. We saw that a bunch. I think that's the reason why. And if we were to take that start out, his recent form would even be better than that. Still already saw top 12 in the field. So he makes a lot of sense. Russell Henley, a great stat fit. I think he makes a lot of sense as well. He's been playing some great golf. If you want to go to him, you can. I touched on Russell Henley kind of a bunch last week and a little bit over the past month or so. He had that kind of natural lull that we see with players like mid-season and whatnot. He's bounced back well. A 5th and a 10th place finish. I like that there from him. Still a strong staff in the field. I think you can easily roll with him. And then looking at golfers like Shane Lowry, Corey Connor, Seamus Power, Taylor Pendrith. Like, I love going back to the well with someone like Taylor Pendrith, whose recent form is top 10 in the field. He makes a lot of sense. Corey Connor should be a safe made cut. He's a cut maker. I honestly love going that route. Chris Kirk is someone I'll touch on later on, surprisingly. JT Poston, he's someone I think will play well. Good enough course history here, good enough recent form. I think he makes for a great play. Webb Simpson, we're not playing Webb. I can't believe there's people that played him last week just because of the course narratives there. That was weird. And then from there, just trying to see if there's anyone popping up there. Scott Stallings does. Scott Stallings, 30th at this event in math, 2018. Key stat fit wise could be better. Only 30th in the field. Recent form wise, I guess could be better as well. This is one of those where when I say it, some people are like, what does he mean his recent form isn't the best? Well, one, we have a stack field. Two, he has had some bad finishes in there when we're looking at his last 10 starts. But he's had that upside as well. So he's kind of a high risk, high reward type play once again this weekend. We've seen that. So over his last 4 starts, 5 starts, 4 starts here. 4 starts here. Been a stud. 4 straight top 15 place finishes. You look prior to that, recent form 5 and recent form 6, missed cuts, a 4th, missed cut. You know, he's just been a little bit too inconsistent, but we do see the local ties there from Scott Stallings. Okay. And I think, like Cameron Young, he makes for a lot of sense as like a GPP play and as an outright bet. I think I'll be on Scott Stallings this week as an outright bet. It does rank out top 20 in the field. And I know that goes against a little bit of what I just said about chasing the best plays. Well, sometimes like top 20 in the model, that's still fine. Like we can take some value and try to get lucky. And that's what you're going with if you place an outright bet on him. From there, we're going to dip down into the value tier. Now, none of these golfers are really going to be popping too much as like, yes, we need to play them, but they're going to be good enough plays. So someone like Wyndham Clark, I don't mind. Staff fit wise, not that good. Recent form wise, good enough. 37th in the field. Specialist wise, 33rd in the field. 62nd best pick in the 9 to 5 model. You know, that's good enough. Alex Smalley is someone that continues to pop up. Like I'm perfectly fine with him as a play. Taylor Moore has been playing some great golf. If you want to roll with him, you can. You know, I'd be fine with that. Do I try Troy Money Merritt? I don't know. That's up to you guys. I don't think I'm going to go that route. But I do like Cullen Horan here. And if you guys didn't see it, there was a pretty... I'm going to pull it up here real quick on Twitter because I just retweeted it. Check this out. Go to the Twitter page and check this out. It's a cool story about him, kind of how he sucked in his first 8 starts. He mentioned the fact that I need to get rid of this bad round. I need to get rid of this like one bad shot. I need to piece together 4 good rounds. And it was just a cool interview to not only see a golfer say exactly what we've been saying, but kind of just the mental aspect of his game. And he came on and said, yeah, I'm ready to grind. I'm ready to grind it out. So be interesting to see. I like Tarn this week, guys. I do at this price point. And I might be going a little bit more studs and duds this week because we are getting some good enough golfers at this price point. Like he's been in some good recent form, 36th best in the field. He's had some of those upside finishes that you'd want from someone like him. I could see it, like not terrible. I honestly thought Jonathan Vegas would be a much better play than this. He's not. You know, that's for you to decide if you want to go that route. And then just looking at it, is there anyone else like really popping up here? No, not really. Okay. Peter Malnati, I don't hate just because of his last 5 starts, and that's really what you'd be chasing. I'm just curious. If we were to look at his recent form over the last 5 starts, well, I'll just go into the cheat sheet to do that, actually. Well, whatever. We'll go into recent form. It should be easier that way. So recent form average over the last 5 starts, and once again, this can get you into some trouble. All right, he is kind of down there a decent amount. But not terrible. I mean, that's not terrible. Okay. Well, you see my point, I guess. It's like, it's good enough. If you want to roll with it, you can. Like, could he make the cut? Could he continue that form? He could. Let's see here. I'm just seeing. Anyone else popping? No, not really. Not really. Now we're going to get into the core plays here, guys. Going to get back into that cool slide for you. Let's roll. All right, so all I did was click on the 9 to 5 data tag here and click on core play, okay? The data tag is seeing that these guys are core plays, and they're a bunch of guys that we already echoed, okay, plus Chris Kirk. So I already kind of mentioned why Rory's a great core play. Makes a lot of sense. Top player in the 9 to 5 miles should be enough for you guys there. Let's look at Xander. Second best pick in the 9 to 5 mile. Makes a lot of sense as a play. You know, strong recent form. Really tough to beat that, honestly. If you want to just bet him to the top 20 again, you can. Patrick Cantlay makes a lot of sense. You could easily roll with Patrick Cantlay there. Sorry about the misclick. You know, he makes a lot of sense. Really strong play there. Just great recent form. Great staff fit. Tough to find a better play than him. Matt Fitzpatrick makes a lot of sense. Willie Z popping up there did surprise me. So let's look into this a little bit more. I guess, yeah, over his last, take that one out. Last 3 starts, you know, good enough finishes, miscut, 2nd, 5th, miscut, 2nd. And yeah, if we go back further, 7th. So a little bit inconsistent there, recent form wise, and that's probably why he only raced out 14th, but not terrible there. And I did find Chris Kirk very interesting because no course history. You know, I guess that'd be the worry. Pretty good stat fit, though, which is shocking to me. Recent form could be better. You know, top 25 in the field, not terrible. You know, he's been making cuts enough. Like, just an interesting play that the data likes him that much. 7.4, decent price tag. I could see rolling with that. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And then real quick, just going to give you guys a first look build, and then we're going to be getting out of here. So it's really for you guys to decide, do you want to do a studs and duds build, or do you want to do a fair and balanced build? That's for you guys to decide. I'm not going to tell you kind of which way to go with that. But I do really like trying to fit in, you know, a couple of those core plays if we can do that. Okay, so like if you want to go, I don't know, let's just go Cantlay and Fitzpatrick because they're the cheapest ones. And then we'll fit in Chris Kirk in there because the data liked him. So from there, what are we doing? You know, there's a bunch of quality plays. Obviously, want to play some of the players I mentioned. We could go Russell Henley if we wanted to. We could go Max Homa if we wanted to. I do think Corey Connors is going to be a made cut. Like, this is a little bit over. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we drop down from Max Homa. You know, we're seeing what we can do here. Cam Davis, not a terrible play. Could roll with him. Let's see. No one's really popping up here. And this is kind of the point where I could see myself doing a more studs and duds approach and just hoping that one of these golfers makes the cut. So like Taryn here. Darn it. Misclick. Taryn there. And now I lost him. 1 second, guys. There we go. Taryn here. Include him with Chris Kirk. 7.4. And I'm not going to throw in Russell Henley just yet, actually. So we're going to go with Patrick Henley, Matt Fitzpatrick. Like, I like that. That's a good start. Let's see. Can we? I mean, I'm sure we can. Xander. And then, I don't know, just someone random. I mean, that's kind of close. That'd be fun. If you could make that work, that'd be fun. Maybe 3 values in him. Yeah, I don't know. That'd just be fun. Xander's like the highest price one of Cantlay and Fitzpatrick. That's why I'm saying like we don't have to play him. So here we go. And boom, that works out pretty well. So Russell Henley, Patrick Henley, Max Homa, Fitzpatrick, Chris Kirk, and Taryn. I get a decent first look build. Obviously, as the week goes on, that might change, but a decent build. But that's all I have for you guys for this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. If you guys want to join 9 to 5 Nation, the best value in PGA DFS, you know, you can. Links in the description below, $10 a month. All right. That's all I have for you guys. And as always, let's keep cashing.